Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Mahatmanas tumam partha daivim prakritim asritaha bhajanti ananya manaso natva buthadim avyayam. You want me to read the translation?
Translation, yeah.
O son of Partha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible.
Yeah. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded. Deluded means bewildered, in illusion. Those who are not in illusion, the great souls, they are under the protection of divine nature. So divine nature, so Krishna's, one is material nature, then there is, so this is Bahiranga, one is Antaranga Shakti, the other is Bahiranga Shakti. Antaranga Shakti is divine nature. Bahiranga Shakti is material nature, or we call it internal energy and external energy. So he's saying the great souls are under the protection of the divine energy. Of course, the material energy is also divine because it's coming from the internal energy, but generally this divine energy refers to the internal energy. They're fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why they're engaged in devotional service? Because they know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they want to serve him because they know that that is their real position. That is why they fully engage. Fully engaged means fully, not half-hearted or not. I mean generally, nityashaha, daily, regularly, like that. Fully engaged. Okay, purport. Anybody wants to read?
Okay. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
In this verse, the description of Mahatma is clearly given. The first sign of the Mahatma is that he is already situated in the divine nature. He is not under the control of material nature. And how is this effected? That is explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, at once becomes freed from the control of material nature. That is the qualification. One can become free from the control of material nature as soon as he surrenders his soul to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the preliminary formula. Being marginal potency, as soon as the living entity is freed from the control of material nature, he is put under the guidance of the spiritual nature. The guidance of the spiritual nature is called Daivi Prakriti, divine nature. So when one is promoted in that way, by surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one attains to the stage of great soul, Mahatma.
Okay, so there's promotion. Anybody wanting promotion? Yeah. You want promotion? Here is the real promotion. One is promoted in that way. Promoted from what to what?
Control of material nature to the control of internal potence.
Yeah, to the guidance of the spiritual nature. So that's also very nice. Prabhupada is saying one is control, the other is guidance.
Okay.
So which means that one doesn't have to be controlled when he comes to the spiritual platform. We need control in material nature because we are crazy. But when devotees, those devotees, great souls, Mahatmas, who are under the guidance of divine nature, they don't need to be controlled. They just need to be guided. And guided means what? Like, like more, Krishna will reveal certain things that he wants them to know that way, right? Like more, yeah. Yeah, so like Arjuna was being guided, right? Like, of course, Krishna was there, so he was directly giving instructions, but many times pure devotees are guided to say what they need to do next, what service they need to do, or how certain decisions have to be taken. So everything, because all their senses are completely completely directed by the spiritual nature, so they get guided by the divine power, divine potency. What is this verse explained in 7th chapter? One who surrenders unto the Supreme Person of Godhead at once becomes freed from the control of material nature.
Daiviyesha Gunamaya. Mama Maya.
Divyesha Gunamaya, Mama Maya Duratya. Okay, very nice. So that verse means one who is freed, one who surrenders to Krishna becomes freed. So it's very simple process. So today all of us are in the control of material nature. If you want to come under the guidance of spiritual nature, simply we have to surrender to Krishna. And as soon as we surrender to Krishna, we become freed from control of material nature. Very simple process. And what is surrender? Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Charanam Vraja. What does that mean in practice? Meaning we just depend on Krishna, follow his instructions, follow instructions of his representatives, pure devotees, and that's it. That is surrender. Actually, in Prabhupada writes beautiful purport. So in one he says, Arjuna did not have to consider the instruction of Krishna. Arjuna simply had to carry it out. So he didn't have to consider, meaning he didn't have to think whether, oh, okay, is Krishna's instruction okay for me, not okay for me? Am I, is this going to make me happy? Is this something that I like to do? No. Prabhupada says that, he didn't have to consider the decision. He just had to implement it. So that is surrender. Surrender means if higher authority is saying something, we don't unnecessarily use our intelligence. We use our intelligence to figure out how to make it work. That is where we have to use our intelligence. So if we got an instruction, then we have to think, oh, okay, how do I make this work now? Okay. And that is surrender. So we have to surrender to the Supreme Lord, surrender to his representatives, then our life becomes perfect. We no longer remain in the control of material energy. That is why, the Mahatma's life is completely managed by the internal energy. So they don't have anything like karma phala and all that. But there will be semblance like something which looks similar to karma phala, but it's completely under the guidance of spiritual energy, because Krishna now directly manages that devotee's progress back to Godhead. So he knows exactly what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, and he's taking personal care, giving personal attention to the devotee. So such Mahatmas, definitely they'll achieve Krishna. Okay, next paragraph. Manu Prabhu, you want to finish this?
Okay. The Mahatma does not divert his attention to anything outside Krishna, because he knows perfectly well that Krishna is the original Supreme Person, the cause of all causes. There is no doubt about it. Such a Mahatma or great soul develops through association with other Mahatmas, pure devotees. Pure devotees are not even attracted by Krishna's other features, such as the four-armed Mahavishnu. They are simply attracted by the two-armed form of Krishna. They are not attracted to other features of Krishna, nor are they concerned with any form of demigod or of a human being. They meditate only upon Krishna in Krishna consciousness. They are always engaged in the unswerving service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, beautiful. So see, there is no doubt about it. When we read this, it might look like, okay, I think I also don't have any doubt. So if I ask anybody here saying that, does anybody have any doubt that Krishna is the original Supreme Person, cause of all causes? What will we say? We'll say, no, absolutely there's no doubt. But that is only theoretical. Practically, we have a lot of doubts. We don't necessarily trust this. Because if Krishna is the Supreme Person and he said, surrender to me, I'll take care of you, then we should surrender to him. But if you're not surrendering to him, then that means that there is some doubt. Even after surrendering to him, if we are not having faith that Krishna is taking care of my life, then we don't have doubt. So actually, this is why Prabhupada in another purport says that Krishna consciousness means increasing faith. Process of Krishna consciousness means increasing faith from Adav Shraddha, preliminary faith, to unflinching faith. Unflinching means it cannot be, nothing can shake it. That kind of faith, which means that literally we firmly believe that Krishna is in complete control and Krishna. So basically we firmly understand and accept all the instructions, guidance that is there in the Shastra with respect to Krishna, Krishna's devotees, devotional service, etc., etc. So there's no doubt. When there's no doubt, we strictly follow the process. We want to follow the process. We don't have any doubt there. And generally, we will not have multiple, one leg in one boat, another leg in one boat, another boat. So we should not have any doubt about this. So here, beautiful statement Prabhupada is making. Such a Mahatma, he is already a Mahatma. He develops through the association with other Mahatmas, pure devotees, develops. That means that the only way we can actually really make progress is to be in the association of such pure devotees. Right? And who are these pure devotees? Prabhupada further. And this is what Prabhupada says is devotional ecstasies. Just look at it. I mean, why does he have to bring in two-hand form of Krishna's form? Pure devotees are not even attracted because his mind is being revealed, his heart is being revealed. Pure devotees are not even attracted by other forms of Krishna, such as four-handed Mahavishnu. Yeah, gopis see Mahavishnu, they see Vishnu, Narayana in four arms. They offer obeisances. They say, oh yes, okay, all obeisances unto you, Lord Narayana. But did you see Krishna? So they are not attracted by any other form apart from 200 form of, so basically Shyam Sundar Krishna. Of course, then they're not really concerned so much about other demigods or other human beings, etc. They're always engaged in unswerving. Unswerving means which doesn't, again, unflinching, which doesn't shake. It's very fixed, consistent, committed devotional service. The beautiful verse this is. Okay, anybody has any thoughts, questions? Okay. Can somebody else read this, please?
Yes, Ru.
Thank you.
Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate.
Okay.
Translation: always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion.
So what are the characteristics of these Mahatmas? So Krishna talked about these Mahatmas, and now he's saying, what are their activities? How do I recognize that one is a Mahatma? How do you recognize one is a Mahatma? When he's always chanting Lord's glories. Always. Always means always. Means every opportunity that he gets to glorify, he'll glorify. And it's not that he's like, okay, if I get an opportunity to glorify, okay, I'll glorify, otherwise I'll not. No, endeavoring with great determination. Endeavoring. Krishna consciousness doesn't mean just take life easy, retirement plan. No, Actually, for a Krishna conscious person, work only increases after retirement, so-called retirement. So endeavoring with great determination. Okay. Madhuri Mataji asking, are they attracted to Lord Rama form? No, they are not attracted to any other form. They are attracted only to Krishna. Actually, there's a lot of difference in rasa between Rama and Krishna. Rama is Maryada Purushottama. Krishna is Leela Purushottama. Krishna has no consideration for all this Maryada and all that. That is left it to his Rama form. As Krishna, he is not very keen on all this. Following Maryada. Yeah. Yeah, so they're not attracted by Rama's form either. Okay. Satisfied. Okay. So they're saying, so endeavoring with great determination. So making plans for Krishna, figuring out thinking how to preach, what to do, and with great determination, meaning if it fails, say, no, I think maybe we did something wrong. Maybe we can try in a different way, etc., right? So endeavoring with great determination. Going down before Krishna, whenever we see Krishna or his representative, we bow down. So whenever actually, to secretaries and servants of Maharaj, very fortunate. Every time they see Maharaj, they have to bow down. Every time they come in his presence or he comes in their presence, they have to bow down. Just imagine how many times in a day they'll be bowing down. Right? I mean, unimaginable fortune. These great souls perpetually worship me. Perpetually means eternally, always. Perpetually worship me with devotion, most importantly, not that they're simply doing something. Perpetually they're worshipping Krishna in devotion. So these are the activities of Mahatmas. Okay, Prabhu, if you can please continue.
Yes, purport. The Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stamping an ordinary man.
Prabhupada is saying rubber stamping. Like just, what is that like? Rubber stamping means just copying. Like you can't just take an ordinary man, put a stamp on his head saying that, okay, he's a Mahatma. No, it doesn't work that way. Yeah.
His symptoms are described here. A Mahatma is always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. He has no other business. He is always engaged in the glorification of the Lord. In other words, he is not an impersonalist. When the question of glorification is there, one has to glorify the Supreme Lord, praising his holy name, his eternal form, his transcendental qualities, and his uncommon pastimes. One has to glorify all these things. Therefore, a Mahatma is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, so nice. So Prabhupada is saying one has to glorify all these things. So we have to learn to glorify all these things. We have to learn to glorify the Supreme Lord. We have to learn to glorify his holy name. We have to learn to glorify his eternal form. Yeah, Krishna's eternal form. There's a little bit description in Bhagavatam, little bit description in Brahma Samhita, and there's a lot of description in our Goswami literature. So one has to become qualified to reach there. Then to understand his transcendental qualities. Of course, when we read about Krishna, 10th canto, again other literatures, etc., we understand. And Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu specifically discusses Krishna's various qualities. So it's nice to read all that. And of course, his uncommon pastimes. So one has to glorify all this. One has to glorify all these things. And we have to practice. We have to practice this. That is why we started this Sunday preaching training sessions. When we go through this, then we can all put our heads together and see, okay, if this is the topic for discussion. How do I glorify the Supreme Lord? How do I praise His holy name? How do I praise His eternal form, transcendental qualities, pastimes, etc. Right? So, in our preaching, slowly and steadily, we have to try and keep bringing these aspects, because that is Krishna consciousness, right? There are so many people who preach. It is, if somebody preaches, if somebody is preaching Krishna consciousness and he's spoken for half an hour and he has not used the word Krishna, is that Krishna consciousness? It's not Krishna consciousness. Because a Krishna conscious person cannot hold himself or herself back without saying the name Krishna for half an hour. Especially when he or she is intently glorifying the Lord, taking the opportunity to glorify the Lord. It cannot be that he or she will not take the name of Krishna. So we have to be very, very careful about whom we hear. Every time I talk to devotees are saying, yes, I'm hearing from the internet. I said, very good, wonderful. Have any idea from whom you are hearing and why you are hearing? No, nobody thinks so much. So devotee Mahatma cannot but glorify Krishna. And it's not like indirect glorification. Devotee is not satisfied with indirect glorification. Like Prabhupada explicitly is mentioning in the previous verse, no Vishnu form at all. No other form, only Krishna. That's a devotee. Therefore, Mahatma is attached. And we are attached to material things. Mahatma is attached to Krishna. Okay, Prabhu, please continue.
Yeah. One who is attached to the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, the Brahma Jyotir, is not described as Mahatma in the Bhagavad Gita. He is described in a different way in the next verse. The Mahatma is always engaged in different activities of devotional service, as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing and chanting about Vishnu, not a demigod or human being. That is devotion. Sharanam Kirtanam Vishnu and Smaranam, remembering him. Such a Mahatma has firm determination to achieve at the ultimate end the association of the Lord, Supreme Lord, in any one of the 5 transcendental rasas. To achieve that success, he engages all activities, mental, bodily, and vocal, everything, in the service of the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna. That is called full Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, such a Mahatma has firm determination. Very, very important. Firm determination, also along with that firm faith. Firm faith that he will achieve the ultimate end in this life. We have to have the firm faith. Again, going back to that faith question. Here when we ask this question, we will say, no. Actually, I'm not very qualified. I'm not qualified. Yes, of course, we are not qualified. We are not, absolutely not qualified. It is not by our qualification that we are going to go to Krishna. It is simply by our sincerity and effort and Krishna's great causeless mercy. And Guru's great causeless mercy. So when we say that I am not qualified, that means that we are pulling down the position of Guru, Krishna, Parampara, and we are putting ourselves above all of them, saying that no, I am so important in this whole scheme of things that because I am not qualified, I cannot make this happen. So a very self-centered view. So that is a humility versus ego. Actually, we have to. It's very difficult to make the distinction, right? So we have to very sharply understand Shastra. Only then we can differentiate all this. Full Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada is saying. Okay.
In devotional service, there are certain activities which are called determined, such as fasting on certain days, like the 11th day of the moon, Ekadashi, and on the appearance day of the Lord. All these rules and regulations are offered by the great acharyas for those who are actually interested in getting admission into the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the transcendental world. The Mahatmas, great souls, strictly observe all these rules and regulations, and therefore they are sure to achieve the desired result.
Yeah. So initially, all these rules and regulations are absolutely important because Prabhupada is saying they're offered by great acharyas for those who are actually interested in getting admission. So it's like qualification. If you do all this, if you wear tilak, if you wear kantimala, if we wear Vaishnava clothes, it's easy for Matajis mostly. Wearing sari is not so difficult. Maybe for some of them it's difficult, but culturally it is still in vogue. Prabhu's getting stuck with pant and shirt is super dangerous. Nowadays I see like devotees even in night pants, track pant, like people wear, right? They now after Corona and all, practically wear your night pant and go wherever you want. Doesn't matter. Devotee should not do that. As much as possible, you should avoid all this. So they strictly follow rules and regulations. So it's not that they think that, okay, I'm above all this. No. They'll follow all this, so then they're sure to achieve the desired result. Again, so this whole thing about Krishna versus Rama, all pure devotees are Mahatmas, okay? But just that Prabhupada is showing his love for Krishna, that's all. Yeah, so they're sure to achieve the desired result, okay? Last paragraph.
As described in the second verse of this chapter, not only is this devotional service easy, but it can be performed in a happy mode. One does not need to undergo any severe penance and austerity. He can live this life in devotional service, guided by an expert spiritual master, and in any position, either as a householder or a sannyasi or a brahmachari. In any position and anywhere in the world, he can perform this devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus become actually Mahatma, a great soul.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhu. So, guided by an expert spiritual master. So we have to be guided, be willing to be guided, seek guidance, adopt the instructions in our life. Then we will come to actually happy mood. Happy mood is not in the beginning. In the beginning, it's all difficulty. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to that. So difficult. But eventually, chant and be happy means chant today. Keep chanting, and at some time in the future you will become happy, like naturally happy, because you will understand. You will understand Krishna's position, understand my own position, have full faith in Krishna, know that our life is in His hands and He is personally caring. And then what need is there to be concerned or worried? That's a very pure state, very high elevated state, but we should get there. That is why here Prabhupada is not saying that this is some people are disqualified from being a Mahatma. He said no, perform devotional service under expert spiritual master and you will become a Mahatma. You will fully become a Mahatma. So we should aspire for this. Whenever we hear these kind of qualities, look at those devotees who are living life like that, we should get inspired and say, okay, I also want to become like that. That's when we're going to make real progress. See, at the end of the day, we need to have a drive. We can't be doing anything just because we have to do it. That's not going to last long. We have to do it because we have some drive, and there has to be some drive. The whole attempt doing all these reading sessions, training sessions, etc., is to just somehow make sure that there is some drive in each of you to make serious progress, not lukewarm progress, serious progress. Serious progress means getting to 16 rounds, preaching, dealing with everything in a Krishna conscious way, being equipoised, happily accepting everything that comes in our life, all of these things. Not just simply chanting and then reading. That is just the beginning part of our sadhana. Application of that is the biggest part of the sadhana. Of course, chanting without distraction is impacted by how we live the rest of the day. So it's all integrated, it's all connected closely. So this, we have to get this drive in our life for Krishna, something for Guru, something for Krishna, something which is going to drive us to do something, right? And not just do my chanting, reading, and then that's the end of it. Okay, anybody has any questions? Everybody is happy? Susukham kartum avyayam. Susukham kartum avyayam. Okay, I think it's half an hour up. Yes, you can ask. Prabhu, you have anything to say?
No, because in the previous verse, like Prabhupada mentioned, Krishna's other features, like not forms.
No, all that is features only. Generally, it's called features only.
It's forms only.
Yeah.
Other forms.
Yeah. Other forms are all his features. Because they're all same person, no? So how can we aspire to become Mahatma as well be humble? When we become a Mahatma, automatically we'll be humble. When we are not a Mahatma, okay. Question is, how can we aspire to become Mahatma as well as be humble and meek? Not being humble and meek is an indication that we have not become a Mahatma. So when we become a Mahatma, automatically we'll become humble and meek. That is a sign that we become a Mahatma. If we are simply think that we are a Mahatma and we are not humble and meek, then we are not a Mahatma. We are, Prabhupada says, like next verse you'll know what it is. Of course, not that, because that is referring to impersonalists, so that is Duratma. But yeah, devotees who are aspiring to come to Mahatma stage, automatically they'll become humble and meek. See, humble and meek in general is a sign of progress. When somebody says something and we say, okay, this is Krishna's desire, I need to learn something and not react, not respond, our heart doesn't suddenly, like I have to say something, my urge is like, I can't just keep quiet. This is injustice. I can't deal with this. We are far from Mahatma. Mahatma is always humble. He's okay, Lord's desire. Okay. So no, why this, why that? Mahatma is not asking why. Mahatma is actually asking when will I give up all this nonsense? When will I become dear to Krishna? When will I go and serve him pure devotion service? So Mahatma is asking those questions, not why is this happening to me? Why this problem? Why can't I get an easy life? No. Mahatma is far from all this. Automatically is completely humble because he knows that everything is in Krishna's hand. So what is the need for him to jump up and down? He will not jump up and down. Okay.
And Prabhupada is mentioning here that there is no need to undergo penance and austerity. So this is in comparison to the other process.
Yeah. Very little austerity that we have to do in Krishna consciousness is a big deal for all of us. So, yeah, but comparatively, it's nothing. And yeah, I mean, also see, even in devotional service, for example, literally, we don't have to do Chaturmasya, we don't have to do any of these, Bhishma Panchak and all that. We don't need to do. We can do if we want to please the Lord, but we don't have to do. We can do basic like Ekadashi, fasting on, appearance days, Lord's appearance days, and basically for regulative principles, not eating onion, garlic. This much if you do and live a peaceful, pure life, that's good enough. You don't have to go in for like too much of extra austerities. But if somebody feels like doing it, okay, that's fine. It's good. It's nice. but it's not required for bhakti, because bhakti is a process of absorption. Even without doing all that, we can become absorbed, right? But some people think, okay, we'll do it. So that's fine too. Not like bad or anything, but
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
yeah.
Regarding this, looking for an opportunity to glorify Krishna, like you said. The other statement is always glorify Lord Krishna. So how do we reconcile? Looking,
How do we reconcile? As in, both of them are same only, right? Where is contradiction? Always looking for and looking for an opportunity. So he finds the opportunity and always glorifies. So before glorifying, he needs an opportunity, no? So he'll keep looking for that opportunity and he will glorify. Again, next opportunity, glorify. That is always glory. Always glorifying doesn't mean that every second he's glorifying, right? Yeah, by his own life, by the way pure devotee lives his life, he is glorifying Krishna. That is different. But opportunity to like vocally, like Kirtanam, he has to get an opportunity. When he gets an opportunity, immediately he'll glorify. Again, either he will wait for the next opportunity or create another opportunity and glorify like this. It's not different. I mean, both of them are the same, mean the same.
okay. So like for the beginners, so if we don't tell much about Krishna, so our goal is to get them to Krishna consciousness. So does that also come under the category of glorification of Lord?
Sorry, repeat your question.
Like for the first timers, so we may not tell much about Krishna, glorify Krishna explicitly.
Why?
So for the first timers who are not, who don't have the knowledge of Krishna, like
We give the knowledge of Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. From the beginning itself.
Yeah, first day you said no Srimad, and you beautifully described the beauty of Krishna. That is giving Krishna to people who didn't know about Krishna.
Okay.
See, absolutely. I mean, see, the only thing we should be wary about is glorifying the holy name too much. That is why, like in yesterday's session, I said, yeah, this is important. Do what their glories are, etc. We'll slowly tell you, right? But it's important for you. Just do it. That we should not reveal. We should not go and say, chant once the holy name and all your karma phala will be destroyed and all that. Like people won't understand. That we won't do. But absolutely, we'll glorify Krishna. I mean, my preaching approach is I want to tell people what Krishna is. I want to tell people what Krishna is a Bhakta Vatsala. Krishna loves his devotees. Why shouldn't we say this? I mean, there is nobody else who can compare with it. And this is like USP. What is the USP of Krishna? This is the USP of Krishna, unique selling point. Like, you understand the point, right? I mean, that's when people will get hooked on to Krishna. That's when they'll get attracted to Krishna. So, absolutely, we should glorify. But we should not technically or do some esoteric stuff which they cannot understand. That's not good. That's not going to help anyway, right? But yeah, absolutely, Krishna as a person, personality, his nature, how he cares, takes care of his devotees, his power, Aishwarya, Purushottama, all this we can absolutely glorify, from day one.
Okay. Yes, and esoteric in the sense his pastimes with his
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about Das Leela, Radharani and all that. Everything else we can. I mean, talking about even Krishna with his sakas, Krishna with Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, absolutely attracts people. And we should.
Okay, Prachi, yes. And like you were mentioning that, Srimad Bhagavatam has a 10th canto. It has glorification of Krishna, but more is there in the Goswami books.
Yeah.
So then we have to consider is like what we need to tell from Goswami books.
No, Goswami books are not for public
Yeah.
public distribution or publicly discussing. It's for internal consumption.
Okay.
And maybe amongst like-minded devotees who have all come to the same level of progress.
Okay.
Of course, I mean, when I'm talking about like those not the Upadeshamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, right? They are public books. That also requires a lot more maturity, then we can come to that stage. Okay, if you are inspired to only Lord Rama's form, absolutely. That is why we say Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And when there are such devotees, we don't have to overtly glorify Krishna's form or something. And even if we glorify, we can say Krishna has different qualities, Rama has different qualities. Rama has his own glorious qualities. And we don't have to say that. See, first thing we say generally is Krishna and Rama are not different. But they have different qualities. They are different personalities. And some people will like Rama's personality. Some people will like Krishna's personality. Now, there's nothing wrong in either of them. Prabhupada is a Krishna's devotee. But Prabhupada never says, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also didn't ever say that, don't come to me if you are not Krishna devotee. There was Murari Gupta, there was Srivas, who was Narayana Bhakta, Murari Gupta was Hanuman, Rama Bhakta, and then there is Varaha Bhakta. All devotees are there in Gaur Leela, right? So, absolutely, it's not like Krishna, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, because not different from Krishna, so so we should understand. It's not that it's not keeping any of the other devotees of other forms outside, or it's not leaving them out. But because, so for example, if there's a Rama Bhakta who is giving Krishna conscious preaching, he will talk about Rama. But if Prabhupada is a Krishna Bhakta, he is not going to talk about Rama so much. Right, so it's different, each individual devotee and his or her mode of service, etc. So it's okay. When you're preaching, you have to be careful whom you're preaching to, what you're saying, and then make sure that we don't make people feel left out. You have to make that clarification. Yeah. Okay. Close. Anything else? Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.